Sunday, everybody.
Welcome to the web show, episode 3.
Who'd have thought we'd have made it to 3 episodes? But here we are.
We're back.
Thank you for joining us. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. Ding the little notification bell. Please join us on this journey. Be part of our Life After community. We have a great show, as always, as we have seen with our track record of 2 episodes.
I tell you what, we've got a flawless track record. 2 shows, 2 hits, 2 out of for the bleachers, I think, personally.
Let's see how 3 goes. We have part 2 of Joe Cramer's interview. We, of course, know him from Flight of the Navigator.
It was really good to chat to him. He's got lots more fun things to talk about, so stay tuned for that.
We even have a little snippet of Life After the Navigator in this.
Exciting stuff. It's been happening in our edit suite for what feels like years.
It does feel like years. We have Bob is back for another BCave segment with another cool movie prop.
The master of props himself will be revealing another one of his fantastic props from his personal collection.
We have competition.
We love competitions.
We do love competitions, so you have to stay watching to the end.
Do not fast forward. Do not rewind, fast forward, any of that. Stay with us till the end.
But first, our first interview.
Drum roll, please.
Brrr. Some of you already may know this. Most of you probably don't. That we have a 3rd Life After documentary in the works. What is it?
It is Life After Atreyu. NeverEnding Story fans out there.
Big fan of the NeverEnding Story, so I was so excited when we started production on this.
Slightly thwarted by our dear friend COVID-19, which has set us back a little bit. We should have already been in America filming more, but as we know, we have been grounded slightly, but that will not stop us from picking things up shortly.
No, but it just meant that I had more time in the edit suite with Life After the Navigator, but I am so excited that we're doing a NeverEnding Story documentary. And of course, as with the Life After films, it's not only a celebration of the film, but a look at the life of the star, which is, by the title, Atreyu. So let's kickstart episode 3 with an interview with none other than the star of Life After Atreyu and, of course, the NeverEnding Story, Atreyu himself, Noah Hathaway.
And you must hurry, Atreyu, for nothing grows stronger every day. Take this.
Noah, thank you so much for joining us.
We're battling some technical things here, people. So we've got Noah on FaceTime with us recording off screen recording with us going here. So if it's a little sketchy, bear with us.
A little more than technical problems.
Yeah, but why not? Because everything else is going wrong in 2020. Why not?
Exactly.
Technical as well. So thank you for joining us on our newly formed web show, episode 3. Wouldn't have been the same without having you on it. How are you in this crazy world we are living in right now?
I'm bored. I'm bored. Hot. My dogs want to go play on the beach. I stuck them on the beach 2 or 3 times and it was really nice. Never been to the beach and been the only person ever. It was very weird. For miles each way, there was nobody, and then we got kicked.
Are you literally just, the beach has just shut down?
Yeah, they torn everything, roped off every entrance. They had bars, drive-in, we could go park. Yeah, you literally couldn't go. I had a sneaky little place I could go to, but we got caught.
Yeah, I got caught fishing with my son. We went fishing down by our local lake. He wanted to go fishing, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this lady on a police little bike
So friendly,
just
though.
came along and just said, "I'm sorry, the rules haven't changed. You can't stay here," and very politely moved us on.
Yeah, it's very strict time we're in. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, of course, it thwarted our plans to come out to the States to see you, because obviously filming for Life After Atreyu, which we started to in March at Liverpool Comic Con.
Just before shutdown, that wasn't it?
Before.
Literally just before.
I went from Liverpool to Vegas for a day, and while we were in Vegas, they started closing everything. Like the casino. So it was like the lights were going out, and we were running from the terror, like shutting down, and I was splitting back to Cali. It was really weird, and then got to California, and we were on lock.
So what has that meant for all your plans for is the entire 2020 on hold now for you, or do you still have cons at the end of the year?
Pretty much everything got canceled. I had 2 or 3 that got rescheduled, but pretty much it's...
We should be hurtling around America in an RV now with you, having the time of our lives, having the most amazing adventure.
We should, I know.
It's coming though, it's coming.
We've been researching we've been stocking up on American travel shows, because LA to North Carolina via Austin and New Orleans is quite a lot. I'm adding a few bucket list ticks to the plan. What would some of your kind of bucket list things to do in America be?
Oh, good Lord. Probably nothing you're going to want to do. Like, I'll throw you out. Go skydiving. My buddy owns a couple of MMA gyms down there. His girl just fought Amanda Nunes, the champ, last week. So, do that. Go skydiving. Shooting with some SWAT members. That's a start.
Now you're obviously a massive animal lover as we are, and I think you can always judge a person pretty quickly by how they are about animals, and you're clearly absolutely nuts for yours like we are for our 2. Tell us about your dogs, because I know they mean the world to you.
Yes, my Nickname, which she's right there on the
She's adorable.
I rescued her for the little best $200 I ever spent, and then my French bulldog cat was whining by the door. He wants to go scratch his butt on the outside.
Well, our 2 dogs have just got famous. There's a famous rescue centre here called Battersea Dogs Home, and a friend of ours was doing a commercial and they needed videos of dogs, so we put one of our dogs on a skateboard and the other one being cuddled on the bed, and they both made it into the final commercial.
We're going to get them agents.
So every time we turn the TV on, it's basically, the idea is we rescued them and now they've rescued us, is the kind of commercial.
That's what I tell people. I go, well, I bought cat. I had my back surgery and it was messed up. And married, but really lonely. So the pain fucks you up. So I got cash, spent $2,000 on it, and I shouldn't have. Got married for $200. But yeah, they saved me. I tell everybody, but I don't know if I would be here without this dog.
Yeah.
Just because I had to get up. Even when I had the walker, when my back really messed, I'd tie it to my walker, and it might take us an hour to get blocks. But, they get the house and healed and healthy. And my best friend took them last weekend. I sat in bed all weekend. Nice. No, it's not nice. I literally didn't leave my bed. More for my dogs. They get me moving and out a lot. So.
If people see your Instagram, they will see a lot of photos of your dogs, but your Instagram is pretty much dogs and steak. Your diet that we found out about in Liverpool was amazing, because you're literally like a walking muscle. And I actually even came back from Liverpool like just eating nothing but steak.
Yeah, I'm just going to eat steak now. I'm just going to have grass-fed steak. That's all I'm going to do.
You got to be careful. Your stomach takes about a week to get adjusted, though.
So just explain a bit about your diet. You literally just eat meat and eggs. Is that right?
Well, yeah. I mean, they call it a carnivore diet. People get threatened by carnivore. And so what I do is it's kind of like when somebody has allergies and you don't know what the hell their allergies are. They take this out, they take this out, they take this away, and then they see what they're allergic to. I did the opposite. I had really bad hypoglycemia growing up, and I was always sick and nauseous. They were always trying to get blood sugar even. And just over the years of up and down, I decided to just cut everything out of my diet that doesn't benefit me nutritionally. So no processed foods, no sugar, no sodas, pasta, all of that shit gone. So I eat meat, steak, beef. I eat some chicken, but I've eaten so much chicken over the years. Plus, you never see a 300-pound chicken. In like cows, bison, and antelope, and all that shit. eggs, fish, salmon, scallops, lobster. You know, when you can afford them all. But
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds like a pretty good lineup, to be honest.
well, I mean, like I usually eat around noon with my first meal, and I'll usually have like a ribeye steak, a couple poached eggs, maybe some bacon, and then I won't eat till like 6 o'clock at night, and I have a piece of fish with a piece of meat, and that's it. Jameson is one of the 4 food groups.
I tell you what, though, we haven't drunk now for like a year and a bit, but the idea of an American dive bar.
I know that's going to be very tempting. That's going to be
looking mighty good around now.
My liver will attest to it not drinking. I had nothing else to do, and I'm not normally like a drinker.
When in lockdown.
Yeah, exactly. When in lockdown. Well, to be honest, the lockdown, it's been quite difficult. People have been going overboard on drink because there's no rules anymore. So people are like getting up and going, well, I don't have to go to work. So, I don't have to wait till midday or 6 and just...
I have had a day or two where at 11 o'clock it was 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Now, we have a couple of questions from people that emailed.
Oh,
hello. What a sweetheart. But we had a couple of questions from people for you, if I may. I'm going to read them. Which actor would you want to work with again and why?
So that was part 1 of Noah's interview. Make sure you're back next week to tune in for the second part.
Speaking of second parts, Joe Cramer, Flight of the Navigator star. He played David Freeman. You would have seen part 1 last week. If you didn't, there's a card somewhere floating. Go and check it out first. Straight after part 2, we are going to be showing that little snippet of Life After the Navigator. It is still in the edit, so this isn't like final grade or all that fancy stuff.
But it's a first look. It's exciting.
So enjoy part 2 and enjoy a little sneak peek of a documentary that is to come.
Now we've got the 4K re-release. What is one of your favourite moments from the film, would you say?
One of my favorite moments from the film, geez. Obviously as a kid, being around the robots, the spaceship, the creatures in the ship, the amazing work that they did, because this was all before CGI, so the inside of the ship was really that eerie metallic color, that reflective thing, and so it was like I was immersed in this world. Al's Gator City was on Burt Reynolds' ranch at the time, and an amazing little gas station in the middle of nowhere. But that was such a great experience. And then also in a heartfelt level, there were moments in the film that I remember and watching, like the scene in the hospital bed where I'm all scared and David's all scared and asking his mom to take him home and starts crying and all that stuff. Like I remember that to this day, and just how much heart it had and how real it was, and what a great environment too as well. I mean, Randall, director, and all the actors were just wonderful. The whole crew, as far as I remember. I don't remember everybody's names, but I just remember the vibe on that film was wonderful. It's like everybody was doing it because they loved it or something. That's what it felt like to me. So.
And you mentioned the director, Randall Kleiser. I mean, amazing guy, amazing kind of series of film. He's been an incredible help to you on the documentary, hasn't he?
Yes, he is an executive
mentor.
producer on the documentary, because he's been so supportive, and he obviously helped organise that reunion that we had with you, where we surprised you. How was that for you?
I mean, I didn't know, I wasn't expecting that at all, and so the reunion, the Freeman family reunion, and then also to see Randall and Jonathan and Dimitri and just all these people who, I mean, that was priceless as well. That was amazing to see, and really special for me on a personal note, because over the years I'd wanted to reach out to people and wanted to get back into acting or into the film industry or whatever. And I never had the self-confidence. I always felt so guilty and ashamed about things that I'd done that I felt like I wouldn't be accepted or supported. And so to find out that there was so much support and love and encouragement for me after all these years, regardless of what I've been through and overcome, that was a huge factor as well, and so special.
Well, it was definitely a day that we won't forget.
It was amazing.
Luckily, we had cameras there, so it is captured for the documentary. Flight of the Navigator, obviously 35 years next year. Why do you think it's so special to so many people all these years later?
I think that even though it's been 35, it'll be 35 years next year, anniversary, and people still love the film. People still showed it to their kids, and it holds up, film-wise, or the CGI, even the graphics and things, and everything holds up today. So that's pretty amazing. And I think, looking back on a personal note, I think that a lot of the reasons that it's so special to so many people is because it was so special to me being in it, and also to Randall directing it, to everyone involved in it. As I said, I always felt like there was so much heart in that film. And then talking to people as well, they've just said that it was at a pivotal moment in their lives, and there was new ways of filming with the CGI and the different things that hadn't been used before. So it was just awe-inspiring, and especially for kids and things like that. But it was also that where everyone can relate to not fitting in. Everyone can relate to wanting to disappear in a spaceship and have an amazing adventure. And then everyone can feel the love hate of family with the little brother and things like that. But then you really appreciate what's important in life at the end. So I think there's a lot of good messages and a lot of heart.
Just before we go, I wanted to say thank you for letting us into your life for the last 3 years. It's been amazing to see your journey and to see you doing so well. And just the whole experience, but also to see you, thriving after the difficult times, and to see you, really sort of getting strong again. So it's been, a real pleasure to witness.
One of the amazing things, because we started filming beginning of 2018 with multiple interviews, the last one being November last year, to see your transformation on camera is just, you don't realize it until you actually have those comparisons, and it's just incredible. So I know a lot of people will be really happy to see and hear you doing so amazing.
Well, I have to thank you as well, because it's been amazing for me, and something I'm cherish for the rest of my life for sure. I'm really excited to see the finished product.
It's getting there.
I've got it.
Did a lot.
It's a 2-hour cut at the moment, so it is an end-to-end documentary. Currently 2 hours.
It was 8 hours about a month ago, and I was thinking, this is going to be a long movie.
The first timeline was 23 hours. I've been cutting away. But yeah, no, it's end-to-end 2 hours, and so I'm so excited for everyone to see it, and I'm excited when we have a red carpet premiere, which will be super fun, and just to hang out with you again, because we miss hanging out with you.
Yeah, we'll get some barbecue somewhere, and and have some of those amazing shrimp things that were delicious.
Yes, from Montana's.
Yeah, oh, so nice.
Thank you so much for being on the web show, Joe. We think you're fabulous, and we'll see you soon.
Take care.
That sounds wonderful. Take care. Bye.
I think that the notion of a movie becoming a cult classic is something that always is for people other than the filmmakers to make happen. And I think this movie had a lot of things in it that were new for the time. And I think when you add all of those different elements, the puppetry, Joey particularly, the ship itself, it became something larger than something we even imagined. And regardless of the box office outcome of a movie like that is, a movie like that tends to continue to play and play.
The picture opened okay. The fact is that the picture played for years on the Disney Channel and developed a really, I would say, a cult following, more as a result of television and video than theatrical.
I can't believe it's 33 years. I do conventions, and you'd be amazed how many people come and have seen Flight of the Navigator.
I remember seeing the picture for the first time and being so moved by it.
It's lovely when they come up and they say, oh, my favorite movie is Flight of the Navigator. It's not Alien, it's Flight of the Navigator.
People are normally pretty shocked when they hear that I worked. I mean, they're more shocked when they hear that I worked on the original Tron, you know.
Kids were always coming up to me saying, oh, you were the dad in Flight of the Navigator. And I said, yeah. They said, oh, you know, I really loved it and it changed my life and I was having trouble with my parents, but then I saw that and and it was really touching to me how it touched them. So it's always surprising to me the emotional resonance that some of these things have.
I didn't realize when I was that young how many people did watch it, because people still go, oh, Flight of the Navigator, I know that movie.
I'm always surprised that they say, yes, that moved me and thank you.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that interview and the teaser for our next Life After, which should be coming at you before too long, by the end of this year, certainly.
Yes. Big thank you, as always. We've said this before, all these documentaries are made with the help of everyone who is part of the Life After community, everyone who is watching, crowdfunding. So a big thank you to people like our executive producers, Eric Yu and Joe J. Snip.
Hi Joe, J. Snip 4, how are you, buddy?
Joe in Tampa. And also Mike Christie and Prakshep, who are the associate producers. Big thanks for making Life After the Navigator a reality.
Without your help, we couldn't have done it. So we're trying to build a community here of filmmakers that can all help each other and come along on the journey. So please come with us.
What is next?
Next, it's over to Bob's BCave, where we're going to see another fantastic prop from his ridiculously awesome collection. Bob, are you there?
Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of the BCave, yay! So this week's prop breaks a little bit of our rules because the movie that we're talking about, The Rocketeer, was shot in 1991, which is kind of out of the window of our 80s vibe. But if ever a movie should have been made in the 80s, it was definitely The Rocketeer.
We're at a point now where individual flight without a plane becomes more of a reality every day. A day may come when it's a common sight to see a person flying around like a rocket-powered bird. But that day's not here yet, unless you're the Rocketeer. And with a push of a button, boom, I'm out of here.
So at the web show, what we're trying to do is connect some threads together like a web. So we're going to jump from the Flight of the Navigator, a Disney production, to another Disney production. There's a couple of different threads that are interesting. The lead concept artist for The Rocketeer was also the lead concept artist for Flight of the Navigator. So without further ado, we will reveal this is a screen used by Cliff Secord, aka Billy Campbell, Rocketeer helmet. Now with a lot of these props, there was multiples and multiples made, and Rocketeer is definitely one of those where there's at least 5 or 6 rocket packs, at least that many helmets. I've had so many Rocketeer props over the years, like an overwhelming amount. It's a lot like Flash Gordon, where I would just grab anything. Over the years, I've gotten rid of 99% of it. You can see here this rocket pack behind me, which is a pitch perfect replica of the screen used pack. And I know that because in its place used to be a screen used pack, and it's a long story, and maybe a story for a documentary, something like Life After Rocketeer. There are so many great stories and adventures I've had with that film, sneaking into the Disney archives, finding rocket packs and helmets. I guess without further ado, we should put the prop on black and make some like nice images so you guys can see it up close. I've never actually tried this on before. It's pretty fragile because it has some damage to it. But you know, gotta do it for the fans. So let's see if it even fits. It does mostly fit. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. You actually can't see pretty much anything in this. Whew. Wow, that was cool. The great thing about this helmet, besides the kind of crazy story of chasing it down,
and that rocket's got to be got. And he's got to get it for his side. And his side isn't the good side.
Is that I was able to find an actual photograph from 1991 of Billy Campbell with this helmet. So this photograph I found was from a Japanese magazine from 1991 promoting the Rocketeer. You can see on this guy, there is this big chip right here. And there's a plus, there's these 3 snaps. Not just the one snap like on the Hero helmet. In the production of the Rocketeer, there were so many different prototypes made for the rocket pack and the helmet to try to get the design as accurate as it could to the comic book. If you guys are fans of the Rocketeer, you'll know that the comic book version of the rocket pack was completely different than the one that they used in the film. The helmet, on the other hand, is pitch perfect, exactly as shown in the comic. One of the other details that's interesting is allegedly the stunt helmets had a thicker fin than the Hero helmet, which is almost like razor sharp all the way down. So I think this was probably a stunt helmet, or possibly there's some other fin heads, that's what a Rocketeer expert's called, who think it may be one of the Disney walk-around helmets. There's no real way of knowing for sure. I'm really curious to see what you folks think or are curious about. I've got some really amazing replicas also, which is another kind of dirty word in the prop collecting community. But I think it's worth, celebrating some replicas. If there's only one of these items out in the world, I really celebrate folks that will create a replica or even make a copy of a screen used prop. Because it's hard, right? If you're a real fan of something and you can't afford a really expensive high-end prop, especially in today's prop market, I think a replica is a lovely alternative, and I have some replicas here that I desperately love and make me, just as happy as the screen used thing, especially if, the screen used thing costs like $1 million. So I invite you all to participate and help me out and help me show off cool things, because that's what it's all about. Like, we all want to share our love of these things and be a community about it.
So competition time, folks. This week we've got a great prize for you. You probably caught some snippets in Life After Flash from the man Brian Blessed himself. We filmed him, and boy did he talk, and he talked some fantastic stories. The competition winner is going to receive a link to watch the entire interview in its entirety. That's what happens with entire things.
You will get an uncut, password protected link to see Brian in all his talking glory. Now, to enter, you have to be subscribed to the channel. If you're not, press the subscribe button wherever it is around me, and comment below. In Life After Flash, Brian tells a story about how he helped Max von Sydow with his grand entrance.
Oh yes.
How did he help him?
So we hope you've all seen it. If you haven't, you can go and watch it, or you can buy it. You can watch it at Amazon. You can buy it on DVD.
lifeafterflash.com.
There's the plug.
So comment below and also share with your friends, tell your friends. It's a great prize. He talks for about an hour and 20 minutes and you can hear everything.
So that's the end of the show really for this week, isn't it?
It's the end of the show.
But we are going to be back next week for another roller coasting ride through the world of 80s and possibly 90s film.
But that's another story.
Very good.